Hey everyone, Crystal Anderson here. I just wanted to make a quick video because I felt really compelled to do this. And so I want to share with you something that I really haven't shared with a lot of people. So when my son was going through our case and after he had disclosed, he was just super traumatized, and he started acting out. He started having major behavioral issues, and he was just in distress. And I think that's every parent's worst nightmare, is when their child starts acting out and distressed and starts showing signs of the physical abuse or the sexual abuse or the assaults or, anything like that. A child being hit and being abused is really traumatizing. And these children are so young, usually when this abuse starts, they don't know how to react to it. And so it's our job as parents to take action, and it's our job as parents to be their voice and reach out for them and stand up for them and get the help that is necessary to move forward with your case. And so I know that a lot of you parents right now in the United States and all over are thinking, oh, well, if I just take my child to the local hospital, their forensic team is going to do the job and they're going to prove whoever this is victimizing my child. That is not necessarily the case. And I know many of you think, oh, if I hire an attorney, I'm just going to get my son back or my daughter back and everything's all going to go away. No, it does not work like that. That is not what has happened to our system. Since these corrupt people have gotten into office and into our judicial systems and into our political government, web. And so I really want to spread this message far and wide that if you are a parent who is in the middle of this COVID pandemic and your child is being victimized or being abused, or you are a victim of judicial corruption or domestic violence or anything like that, just because you go to your local police department and say, I've been abused or he beat the shit out of me, or even if 911 is called and that person is arrested on site, that does not mean that you are going to get justice. That does not mean your kids are going to get justice. There's so many times these people are, booked and released, and they get back out into our community faster than you can even think twice, because our system is overloaded. And they don't have the time, they don't have the patience to keep dealing with these repeat offenders. And so even the people who have only done it once, or maybe to one family or to one child, they will never typically stop abusing someone until you break that cycle as a parent. And so for me as a mom, when my son was abused and I went through this years ago, I started videoing my son. I know that cell phones were not great back then when my son was younger, but I do have numerous videos and photos and all kinds of things that I kept, because I wanted to be able to share them with other parents later and say, hey, do you see the same thing in your child? You can't tell me these things are normal. You cannot tell me that these resonate with you well, because when I watch those videos of my son, even now, 8 years later, there is still a part of me that will never be normal again, because immediately, as soon as my son was victimized, I reached out for help. I said, hey, I am a domestic violence survivor. I'm a victim. And I filed 161 pages of evidence against that person. And it did not matter. The sheriff's department served a restraining order on his mother just because it was such a small town, a small community. And they didn't give a shit who they served it on, because they knew that they weren't going to act on it anyways. And so if you have a restraining order and it was served maybe to your spouse's parent or the grandparent or an aunt or uncle, that restraining order is not going to be enforceable, and it is not going to be followed because they don't care. And so right now what we're seeing here in the United States and all over is that many of these judges think that they have powers that they don't. They think that they own our children. They think that they have, birthrights to them. I don't know what they think, but I'll be damned if you have rights over my child. I birthed him. He has my blood, my DNA, and I will do as I damn well please with my child. So if you are a parent and you are in the middle of a case, I highly suggest ordering your records numerous times, because over the 8-year period when I was going through my case, every year I filed something new, even though I did not get my child back right away. I knew I was never going to stop fighting. I knew I was never going to give up. I was not going to stop disclosing the truth. I was not going to stop fighting for what was right. I was not going to stop fighting for what was right by my son. And so I think just gathering all this evidence and collecting it and keeping it is, you know, a key piece to every case. And so as many of you people who have, you know, followed me or just now started following me, my name's Crystal Anderson. I lived in Oregon since 1985. I moved back east when my mom's mom got sick. You know, in the early 2000s, I had decided to move from Oregon back to Indiana to be with my family during that time. And I ended up meeting my son's father there, and I gave birth to him there. We were never married, so I had legal custody, and he paid me child support. However, he would not keep a job. He would not, you know, be a man. He wouldn't do anything that pertained to the child. For the first year of that child's life, he hardly interacted at all. And during that time, you know, even after we had split up, there was a period of 12 months where he never saw my son. And so my son, you know, kind of knew his dad, but he kind of didn't. And so as soon as that judge said, no, you have to give him visitation, I remember those visits. You know, those were the visits where the police were called numerous times, and the grandmother was yanking my son out of the car by his arms, and he's screaming and crying and saying, don't let me go, Mom, don't let me go. And, you know, they just put him in the car seat forcefully, you know, without care. And so if you are the parent going through that today or tomorrow or next week, and you can do something about it and you can change it, I highly encourage you to stop what you're doing right now and listen to your motherly instincts, because 99.999% of the time, your motherly instincts are right, okay? And so you have to trust them. You have to trust the fact that you know your child better than anyone else, and nobody else is going to fight for your child like you. And so I want you to literally sit down and make a list of every place your child has received treatment, or every place that your child has been interviewed, as well as ordering your child support records, order your medical records, order your DHS records, order any police reports, order your court meeting minutes, all of those things, because all of those things are going to be pieces to your case, to the puzzle that solve it. And so every case is different, but from what I'm understanding and what I'm seeing out there right now, and all the families that are crying out, 99.9% of these judges have never issued true judgments when they took parental rights away. And so for all of you parents out there who think your parental rights were terminated by Department of Human Services, I guarantee you there is most likely no true judgment against you. It's titled hearing notes. It's titled, court hearing on such and such day. It's titled anything but judgment. And so if you have a case and you are looking to get your case resolved, I highly suggest that you find out whether a true judgment was issued when your parental rights were terminated. And so that was the one thing that really helped me figure out what was going on in my case and what was wrong and how I could fix it. Because for years I was like, how in the hell can this system seal these records with the Supreme Court? How in the hell can they keep pushing this under the rug? Well, I know exactly how, because Judge Larry Medlock and Special Judge John Evans from Harrison County, Indiana, decided that because they are corrupt and because they are horrible people who condemn sex trafficking and abuse and terminating parental rights. And they even have children of their own. And so if you live in Indiana and you are knowing those people or anything about them, I highly suggest you be aware who you're dealing with. Because I used to clean Judge Medlock's home. I was a business owner in Indiana, and when I decided to quit working for him, that is when he retaliated against me and gave custody of my son to his father, all because his wife delivered my son. So that was a conflict of interest. Not only that, but I was a business owner. I cleaned his personal home, and he did $1,200 worth of damage to my car while it was parked in his driveway when I was cleaning his home. So I have all of those checks from his insurance company. I have every single document with his name on it, with his wife's name on it, and anybody else. So I highly suggest that you parents who have not ordered your DHS records or ordered your medical records for your children, go and do that now. Order them not once, not twice, but multiple times. Same with your child support documents, because every single year I ordered my records, I would get new documents that I had never seen in my life. Last year, I ordered my DHS records, and when my son disclosed abuse and turned his father in for the abuse and said specifically in that forensic interview that is held at the Washington County prosecutor's office in Salem, Indiana, and it's a video of my son forensically on camera, disclosing all of the abuse, and he specifically says, my dad needs to stop doing that. What in the hell is wrong with you people? Why would you seal a case like this? Why would you blame the mother and say that she is telling her child to say these things? Kids don't make this shit up, guys. Kids do not make it up. They do not come up with this hypersexual behavior on their own. Yes, every child has a sex drive. We all do. That is not normal. If your child is touching themselves abnormally, if they are putting their private parts on dogs or on other kids, that is not normal. And you need to be seeking the advice of some serious help for your children. As soon as my son got back here to Oregon and started exhibiting the self-injurious behavior, I immediately got him in counseling with someone who I could trust. I immediately got him in with a psychiatrist, and my son is working on his trauma. And since then, my son has stopped doing self-injurious behavior, and he's doing amazing. He has basically turned his entire life around. And in the beginning of this case, my son was so terrified of his father coming to get him that he literally couldn't sleep at night. He wanted to sleep next to my bed. He wanted to sleep on a pallet next to my floor because he was so scared of this man and terrified of him. This man had sent my son numerous text messages just bashing me as a mother. My son's 12. My son knows who takes care of him, who provides the nurturing, loving support that he needs, and all of the reassurance that he needs to be a strong, successful man and break this cycle of abuse and sexual trauma and everything else. And my son is 12 years old now. And my son is actually starting to have a voice. He's wanting to know about other cases. He's wanting to advocate for other children. And I think that for all of the families who are going through these things, I can say to you that after going through my own case and getting my own, cognitive behavioral therapy and emotional support and PTSD treatment and EMDR treatment and all these different things for my life, just understanding that it's all in the mindset and that you can dig yourself out of whatever hole you're in. I was at a point in my life during this case so many times where I just wanted to commit suicide. I just wanted to kill myself because I didn't want my son to hurt, but that wasn't okay. And so that's why I do what I do, because I want other people to know that it's a common thing that parents who are going through these cases struggle with. And so if you are one of those parents and you're trying to wrap your head around everything that is going on, and you're trying to understand how this system works or how this process works, I can assure you that there is no understanding. There's no justifying it. There's no right or wrong, or there's no reasoning. And so these people are just wrong people. They have no morals. They have no ethics. And so that's the reason why I help these families. That's why I dedicated my life years ago to fighting for my civil rights and fighting for what our founders fought for us. And I believe in 100% exposing all of the corruption. And so if you are a family who has been victimized by DHS or by judicial corruption, or you have a civil law case and you are looking for an attorney to hire for your case, I would highly advise you to be aware, be very careful. The majority of the attorneys here in the United States and elsewhere are in it for the money. They are not in it to help you. They're not in it for the best interest of yourself or your child. And so I want you to understand that if you are in the midst of all of this stuff right now, and maybe it's not a DHS case, maybe it's just a civil rights case, maybe it's, you're trying to stay open, you're trying to open your business and the government's trying to shut you down, they're trying to fine you, OSHA's trying to fine you. You know what? Good luck finding a good civil rights attorney who's gonna protect your rights and who's gonna do right by you and your business, because all they care about is your money. Yes, the majority of them will say, I will take your case or I will fight for you or whatnot. But really, in the end, it is all about the money. And so that's why I feel like, for the last 8 years, I have not ever charged one dime for any of the consulting I've done. I've not charged one dime for any of the advice I've given, any of the legal paperworks I've helped with or I've helped type or anything like that. And I've provided numerous different samples of victim impact statements, of, sexual abuse protective order, examples for other women and other families and other men who are victims of this corrupt system. And so if you are a victim of this system and you have not filed a victim impact statement in your case, that is something that I really think that in a lot of cases can go far if you file it early on. In one of the cases that I know, I had helped work on this victim impact statement. And so this victim impact statement example that I've been sharing with a lot of people is broken down by mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, control. It also lists any convictions or charges that they've had, any restraining orders they've had, because when you are listing people who are narcissists or who are control freaks or, master manipulators, whatever it is, they're really good at it. And so you have to be better than them when you are filing your paperwork, because typically the master manipulators, the narcissists, they hire really good attorneys and they cost thousands of dollars and they're just snakes. And so me, myself, I've seen so many different documents filed by attorneys that are literally pathetic. And I wouldn't pay them one penny to write some of the documents that they have filed for parents. And so if you are a parent who has an attorney who's not doing anything for your child, who's not doing anything for you, stop paying them. Stop paying them your hard-earned fucking money and hire someone who does civil law consulting, who is passionate about taking your case on, who's passionate about fighting for the best interest of that child and the best interest of your case. That is my advice to you. And I hope that each one of you really understand where I'm coming from. If you want to see a video of when my son was just abused, I'm not showing you his abuse. I do not have videos of that footage. This is literally just a video of my son, when he was 3 years old, me trying to get him to take a nap at my mother's home after I had had major surgery. And he's just literally flipping out. He's manic, and you can see it in his face. You can hear it in his voice. You can see it in his eyes. And I really, really think that every parent in America who's going through these things nowadays has the technology and the ability to document these things and keep track of them. And so if you have important documents, make sure you have someone who has a backup copy of your documentation for you. If you were in the middle of a case, I would highly suggest that you do not keep your personal documentation in your home. That is not a good idea. And so if you have paper documentation that you would like to keep safe, keep safe for your family, I would highly suggest getting a safe deposit box at a local bank, or getting a close family member or friend or someone like that who has a fireproof gun safe, and put your personal documents in there, because that is going to protect you. That is your proof of what has happened to your child, your situation, your story, your case. This is your life. And just for me personally, I know that going through this case of mine, it literally, I swear, probably has taken 20 years off my life, and it has changed my life forever. And so, with that being said, I've quit smoking after 14 years. I've lost 100 pounds. I've changed the way I think. I've changed the way I eat. I've changed my life. And so for all you parents who are thinking about suicide, or thinking about harming yourself, or thinking it's better that I just kill myself or kill my child, please don't. Please reach out for help. Please ask for advice. Please order your documents, and please order them more than once, because I almost guarantee you will get something different every time you order them, because the first person who created the corruption in your case or swept it under the rug is not the same person who is preparing those files every time they go out the door. And so what that means for you is that whoever those people are who are preparing your packets to get ready to go of all your documents, or loading your images or your records onto a CD, they don't know what was corrupt and what wasn't, and what's supposed to go out and what's not. And so that's the benefit to you parents. And I can encourage you and assure you that by doing that, you will gain more evidence about your case. You will find out things that you never knew. And so that will benefit your case. I hope that each one of you families will share this video, and it will help anybody who possibly needs help. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions about anything I said in this video, or have any questions about a case here in the United States, please reach out to me. I will be happy to offer any advice, and you can schedule a consultation with me if you would like on my Facebook page, or you can also reach out to me via email, via text, or on my YouTube channel, as well as my Instagram and Pinterest. And then I also do have a website as well at childsrights.org. And so I'm in the process of working on, finalizing that and getting some more stuff set up. I'm also still working on affiliate marketing, and I appreciate anybody who makes purchases from that. I appreciate anybody who clicks on my links and visits my Shopify store. My Shopify website is www.shoppingfanaticstore.com. And so I just want to share that with everyone. I also have another page called Crystal's Daily Deals. And so I will post some amazing items that are, great prices or great deals on there for you guys. And that is a way that I plan to, monetize my page, as well as get customers for my personal business, and work with my consulting business as well, so I can provide for my family and provide for my children, and be a good mom and advocate for other families and other children. And so I hope that you can help me make a difference, one child and one family at a time. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Crystal Anderson, and I am starting a child's rights advocacy foundation here in Central Oregon. Thank you.